late in practice, Princely had an inside move and got in there and held up. Did you talk to him after practice and say?
We did, and I think it was cool for me to talk to the guys. Like, what looked like Princely going for the ball, you got to wait and see the film. We watched the film. He was actually trying to avoid. Bryce didn't have anywhere to go in the pocket. So as he pulls his arm back, he kind of hits him, but you can see Princely running kind of by. Still made a point of it, right? It's still great to teach the guys in those moments, but just another great, teachable moment for the whole groups. Hey, let's not pass judgment on what happened. I saw the play kind of, but I didn't see specifically. We'll be able to rewind it, 10 times and figure out what happened. But had a couple other good rushes today by Princely, so every day shows up and does something good. I'm really encouraged with, the effort, first and foremost, that he's giving and the strain to finish all the way through practice.
We saw Jaycee and T-Mac compete a little bit in 11s. There was the deep ball. What did you see on that play? And then also, how can Jaycee make him a better wide receiver?
Oh, yeah, that's what it's all about, right? Position to position. The guys you go against in practice is how we become us. It's how we find our best. When you bring your best, you bring out the best in the guy across from you. And, Jaycee just kind of owning his land, his territory right there in that situation. Cutting off the deep ball is going to teach T-Mac how to get in position, how to, reduce his surface to try to get back on top, or do I need to stop and pop, against a really big, strong, fast corner, as big and fast as they come. So really brings out the heart of competition.
Austin and Cade,
Yeah.
We've seen them kind of mix up. What's your outlook on the competition as you guys enter and get ready for pads?
Yeah, I think we're just going to let them both kind of play it out and alternate days with who goes with Bryce. That chemistry matters, how the whole group works with communication and all those things. We're looking at all of it, and we're going to evaluate it, and I love competition. I love asking guys to bring their best. They don't have to go above and beyond who they are, but it requires all of you, when you're in a competition, there's good, depth within your position.
Pat Jones was back in coverage, made a play today. What was it about him you saw this offseason that kind of made you target him in free agency?
Effort, strain, first and foremost, we preach rolling off the ball, setting edges in the run game, transitioning to your pass rush, and just being able to play that stout type of defense. And, watching his film from last year, generating, I forget what it was, 8.5 sacks or something like that. But, just the way that he did it with strain, the physical way that he chased the ball on the backside, played stout on the front side is what we're looking for. And so a great addition, a great pro in that room where you got a couple of young guys from the draft in Princely and Nick, to look at DJ Wanham, to look at Pat Jones, DJ Johnson, who's been around the system, to see the type of physicality it requires to play the position.
The additions to the defensive line and the efforts to bolster the run game, when will you get a sense of how much that will change? So when the pads go on, do you have a sense already of how helpful those additions will be?
Well, right now we're practicing without Derek Brown and Bobby Brown, so I think that's going to be another big part of that interior rotation of how we use guys. But Ashawn and Turk, Jaden Crumity, Shai Tuttle, of course, and then adding Cam Jackson and Jarrett Harrison Hunt. These guys, there's a bunch of really talented athletes in that room with different skill sets. You got your big power guys, you have some twitchier guys like Turk, who can really get off the ball and present some problems that way. So I think it just gives us versatility in what we can do, how we can, play the opponent's run, whatever their system might be, and kind of take our approach from there. For us, again, like a lot of these guys have played a lot of pro ball, so we have a good amount of film on some of the veteran guys that we know we can count on to play tough in the run. But it is really cool to get into pads, for those guys to really show, what they can do. And there's advantages to both sides right now. There's less of a surface for the O-line to grab on at this point, but at the same time, it's also some of those guys like playing lower with their pads. So all those things kind of come to life, in a couple of days.
Jack Henderson's kind of like a unique body type, kind of more Seattle-y than some of the other safeties. What is it about like the length and size that appeals to you as well as his talent?
Yeah, it's cool. If you go back to his college film, he was like a flex wheel linebacker type, which really is a nickel spot. He's got great size. He's slimmed up a little bit from his college playing days, but his size and length, athleticism, and ability to play in space, which you've already seen. He was an edge blitzer in some of the stuff they did. He's having to carry seams. He's having to do a lot of things we ask our safeties and our nickels to do. So we felt like it was a really cool scheme fit. And, and for him, the key for all the young guys is how can they contribute on special teams, and so that's going to be the challenge is can he learn what we're doing and can he show us that he can make it happen in these preseason games?
How long do you anticipate extending the kicking competition into? And I know, that's every roster spot this time of year is valuable.
I don't know that right now, but I do know we got to give him fair opportunities to kick here, on the skinny uprights and also to get into some games, and see if we can count on them and from what distance, to make that decision. And of course the kickoff comes into play and, who can place it just inside that 20, and let the ball run a little bit to give our coverage unit an advantage. So all those things are going to come into it. We need more opportunities to be able to make that.
Certainly at least through a game or two.
I would hope so, yes.
They've both done well over the last few days, but do you have to kind of reserve judgment when the normal normal holder isn't kind of available?
That's definitely a part of it. Getting Sam healthy to get him back out to practice. Andy's doing a great job. Thielen came up to me during practice, said he held in college, and with gloves on. So he was kind of asking the kickers, does it matter if a guy has gloves on? I can do it in a pinch. And their response was, we like guys whose hands aren't beaten up from diving and catching and blocking. So a little more reliable hands as your backup quarterback if it's not the punter.
Jimmy, when was the last time Jimmy Horn held?
Shoot, I don't know. I'll have to ask him that.
Jimmy, you knew about his speed coming in, Jimmy Horn. What else are you seeing out of him that makes you feel like you got a chance? Because you got a lot of receivers. It's hard for guys to get a look sometimes.
Yeah, I just love the way that he plays football. It's full speed all the time. Some guys we have to really teach them how to get into a walkthrough mode. He's one of those guys. Everything he does is fast. I think about Devin Tompkins, who I love, who was here last year, and they just bring out the best in everybody because, when they're out there, they're going 100 miles an hour, full speed, and they're looking to take the top off. So I love that style about Jimmy and what he's shown us, whether it's in drills or in the team periods, he's just all gas.
How do you feel about the possibility of keeping 7 wide receivers?
Yeah, we got to see. Again, those last couple of spots, whether it's in the secondary room or the wide receiver room, really comes down to who we can count on in special teams. We're big believers. That's part of the heart and soul of our philosophy of building this team is good football players. And those guys show up in the kicking game. They can cover and make tackles. They can play gunner. You can put them as returners. You can put them at PP, so it's the versatility of the skill players, tight ends included, who are the guys we can count on special teams. That's really what's going to make the decision because, again, you get one ball, you got about 3 wide receivers, sometimes 4 out there, so you're really playing with about 4 guys, and those 5th or 6th guys sometimes, it's hard to find those guys a role. It's the same thing in the secondary. So when they can play teams, you always got a helmet for them because they're going to help us regardless, in our special teams in those units.
See on Patrick Jones when he had the pick over the middle. What's that show about his skills?
Yeah, it was just great vision, quarterback intentions. He's in that bonus hook area like he does, and he kind of dropped back, got to his spot, and got vision on the quarterback. That's the veteran play in his game right now that a lot of the other guys are going to be able to get to your spot and see where the quarterback's eyes are taking you, and so he did it beautifully. And of course he's 6'5", and I didn't know he could catch like that. So that was an amazing play.
Is Timo a load management situation for his knees or what is it?
I think just in generally for Timo, I think the guy's been so dependable here. It's great for us to be able to get his work in. He's tireless in individual periods. He's a pro's pro. He does need the live reps, but within reason. And then it just gives Yash an opportunity to work on his craft, and some of the other tackles that we have to get out there and show us what they can do as well.
Time to see Rico up close on the field. What kind of stands out and pops off about him?
I think for Rico, it's the consistency, and I think just being a well-rounded running back, he can do it all. He catches well in the backfield. He's got patience and vision. He can run with power. He's got really good speed. And then I think the cherry on top is he's an amazing pass protector, just IDing things and the way he shows up really firm on linebackers when they're blitzing. This is something that I've seen from him from a couple of years now. But I think just the well-rounded player that he is. And again, he doesn't say much. He just works hard. He's looking to run with violence, and that's the kind of style of guy that we like here.
Do a couple more.
Coach, how important is having a veteran quarterback like Andy running with the second team and the third team just to give these guys quality reps and develop the rest of the unit, the running backs, the wide receivers, the young tight ends that you want to develop?
It's amazing, and I'm glad you brought that up because it allows us to evaluate all the other skill players as you see the ball get distributed where it's supposed to go. And I got to say for Jack Plummer, he does the same thing for us, and Jack's one of the more conscientious rookies that we had last year, and the way that he was able to learn our system, be a part of the game plan dialogues and offer all of that. Those guys bring a lot of value to the quarterback room in general, but then to your point also to the team, not just for the offensive guys. We need to see the secondary players make plays down the field. So when Andy can push the ball up the field or Jack can push the ball up the field, we get to evaluate our young safeties and our young corners as well. So it's very important.
Tommy was doing some catching for Bryce and just some rehab on the side, and it looked like he was pretty fluid in his routes. Is it just about being able to handle the physicality with his rehab?
Yeah, I think so. I think a big part of it is the initial evaluation of, of what this type of surgery requires to get you fully strong, to get the explosive movements and change of direction that you need. He's working in that progression, but I wouldn't say he's been cut loose for all the change of direction. He's doing a lot of inline stuff with a little bit of routes right now, but then we're going to have to get him in some short space stuff, have him pushing a sled and doing all those things, which can obviously requires more of your body. So I think it's just a natural progression, but he is on track and he's doing a great job. Yep. Thank you.